Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. First tonight, some sobering news. 27,000 Tasmanians are expected to be out of work by next month, and the state will likely be saddled with $2 billion in net debt. The Premier is warning the deficit for this financial year will be significantly north of $500 million. But he's adamant the virus fight has always been about saving lives rather than money.
Danny Weiss is among the lucky ones. He's managed to keep on all 15 staff at his Lenna Valley cafe.
It was one of the most important things, that everybody was working and earning money so they could feed their families. That was the most important thing for me.
Loyal customers and JobKeeper have kept the coffee flowing, but today the Premier gave a grim economic glimpse into the COVID carnage.
We expect that by the end of the June quarter, more than 27,000 Tasmanians will have lost their job, and our unemployment rate will be around 12%.
The government is bracing for a deficit far passing $500 million. Falls in GST payments, taxes and revenue will also see the bills pile up.
I expect that net debt at the end of the next financial year will be around $2 billion.
In tourism, new ABS figures show a 50% drop in visitors in March. Local manufacturing is touted as one way to kickstart the economy.
There's an awful lot of product that we do not make in Australia or do not make in Tasmania. So I think we need to be looking at those industries.
Federal Treasury estimates 250,000 Australians will return to work when Stage 1 restrictions are lifted. $3 billion will also be added to the nation's bank balance. This means at home
5,000 jobs and $50 million in Tasmania.
Tasmania's Stage 1 restrictions will be eased on Monday, allowing restaurants, pubs and clubs to reopen to a maximum of 10 people, leaving cafes like Danny's adapting to the limbo.
We obviously want people who are going to come in and basically spend some money rather than have people who are going to come here and have a cup of coffee and sit here for an hour and a half.
Another economic update will be released by the Premier on Friday. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Aged care operator Bupa has been fined $6 million by the corporate watchdog. The ACCC found the company made misleading representations and wrongly accepted payments for extra services not provided or only partly provided. The order affects 20 of the company's aged care homes, including South Hobart. Bupa has apologised and is expected to pay $18 million to residents in compensation. The state's nursing staff are receiving a special tribute this week as part of celebrations marking International Nurses Day. With traditional events being cancelled due to the pandemic, some of the state's most popular icons are being lit in blue to say thank you to those on the front line.
Hobart nurse Pam Morley has been practising for more than 40 years, with 20 of those spent working in critical care. But she's never experienced anything quite like COVID-19.
During the pandemic, it's changed considerably. We've upskilled and practiced so that we can maintain good physical distancing and PPE practices.
Today marks International Nurses Day, a particularly significant milestone this year as they work on the front line fighting the grip of coronavirus.
You know, things are changing and we've had radical change this year and nurses have really stepped up.
The nurses have done what they always do, and they come together and they work together, they help each other out.
With traditional events cancelled due to social distancing, celebrations this year had to be a little more creative. Icons across Tasmania, like here at Salamanca, lit up in blue at nightfall, symbolising vital healthcare workers and recognising the critical role they play.
So when nurses who are at work or they're at home, if they are in Hobart or in the south and they look out and see that blue light, they'll know that they're thought of and that they are important and that the work they are doing is really valued.
The theme for this year is Nurses, a Voice to Lead, Nursing the World to Health, which I think is incredibly appropriate considering the role that they have played in the first 4 months of this year.
And despite the challenges, Pam says she loves her job and wouldn't trade it for the world.
It's not an easy occupation, but it's a very rewarding occupation.
Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
The new $79 million Southern Remand Centre is starting to take shape. Contractors have this week begun installing panels for the new perimeter wall. More than 150 inmates will be housed here once it becomes operational towards the end of next year. A coronial investigation has found speed was the primary cause of a fatal car crash in 2018. Jay Connell was killed when his car skidded onto the wrong side of the road near Glengarry into the path of an oncoming truck. The coroner found, although the poor skid resistance of the road contributed to the crash, Mr Connell was driving too fast for the wet conditions. The government resealed the road the following year to mitigate further tragedies. Well, anglers may have no excuses for fruitless fishing trips next season, with the first of 33,000 trout released into the wild today. It's part of the government's plan to transfer the fish to areas with low breeding numbers. Four Springs Lake, Penstock Lagoon and Craigbourne Dam are among 13 sites to be replenished.
Having the ability to take fish from the lakes that are not accessed by anglers and move them to waters whereby they can be accessed is obviously great for everyone. It allows people to catch more fish.
Meanwhile, doubt has been cast over the future of this year's World Fly Fishing Championships in Finland amid travel restrictions. There's a strong warning for Tasmanian parents tonight, with the number of children suffering serious burns doubling since last year. Surgeons at the Royal Hobart Hospital say the spike in cases comes as children spend more time at home. Hot drinks, wood heaters and treadmills are some of the most common causes of injury. Parents are being reminded to remain vigilant around their children.
Good evening. Well, after our above-average temperatures last night, we certainly had a less-than-average day around most of the state. Hobart, Campania and Friendly Beaches on top with 19. Launceston and Burnie 14, Devonport 13 degrees. Grove and Ouse reached 18. Flinders Island and St Helens 16. Lowhead 15. King Island and Strawn 14. Lyowini a top of just 7. Now, here's the cloud situation with most of the inclement weather over the west and north and then later over the south. Best rainfall today, 20 millimetres at Mount Bobs. Now, the cloud also over our region extends to Victoria and southeast South Australia. More cloud is over southern WA and that high-level streak of cloud still over central parts. Tomorrow, the front clears the state in the morning, but another is set to clip our south coast later. A high over the Bight and troughs over the mainland complete the picture. Winds tending west-southwesterly and up to 20 to 30 knots over the south, swells to 4 metres. Strong wind warning. That's current from Flinders Island to St Helens Point and also from Wineglass Bay to Low Rocky Point. Hobart, tomorrow, a top of 13, a light shower or two clearing 11, the high for Geeveston, a possible shower for Bothwell, just 9 the maximum. Launceston reaching for 14 and mostly sunny, Devonport 14 as well and 13 for Cressy. For Burnie, a top of 13 degrees and mostly sunny, showers easing from the west, Strawn 13, Curry on King Island 14. And for St Helens, a sunny 15, 14 for Swansea, partly cloudy for Orford 13 the maximum. Thursday, showers over the west and far south, otherwise fine. The same forecast applies for Friday, Hobart and the east coast looking for 17 degrees. And on Saturday, light showers over the west, central and north, fine elsewhere, Launceston, Devonport and Burnie, all 15. Further north, sunny and 27 in Perth, partly cloudy in Adelaide tomorrow. Early rain in Melbourne, a top of 15 degrees. Cloudy but fine in Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. Mostly cloudy at the moment, Hobart 12 degrees, Launceston 12 degrees, Devonport 12 degrees. And that's the weather for International Nurses Day, a day we thank all those people that are helping keep us safe, Kim, including people in your family.
I've got 2 nurses in my family, so I get plenty of good advice. And that is your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.